I'm Flynn from Dystinct Magazine. This is my sister Ava, who is helping me out today. Today we are going to talk with Pat Jones. Pat Jones is the founder of the Bristol Dyslexia Center and also started the Belgrave School, a school designed for children with dyslexia. Pat is mum to Mike Jones, founder of Nessie Learn. The movie Michael is about Pat and Mike and Pat's journey to help Mike read and write. Pat Jones, how grateful we are to interview. From people with dyslexia all around the world, we thank you for what you have done. Breaking the stigma about dyslexia, educating people with dyslexia and bright, clever, and amazing. Thank you.
Well, that's wonderful of you. But actually, it was a very small thing I did as a mother, and it just grew and grew and grew. So I think you've seen little bits of Nessie, haven't you? Have you? Yes. So it gives you an idea of the type of things that we got up to. Thank you very much.
Finally, some questions about teaching Mike. How old was Mike when you started to teach him?
Well, I taught him a little bit because I was already a teacher, but I was teaching older children. When he was about 4, I made sure that he could write his name, although he could write Mike, but he couldn't write Michael, and he couldn't write Jones. He'd write Jones, but he used to get the S in the wrong place. He used to turn up in all different places. And I obviously didn't make a very good job of it. I knew he was bright and would be fine at school. But actually, when he got there, we found that he couldn't learn to read and write. And so I found it very hard as a mum. It took me in total, about 3 years, 3 to 4 years to teach him to read, because I discovered that they weren't teaching him properly in the school that I'd sent him to. And so I decided to teach him at home. And I took him out of school for about just over a year. And really, we worked together. Okay.
What was your favorite game to play when teaching?
My favorite game, probably, it was Follow On. Do you know the game Follow On in Nessie? Oh, it was a good game because it means you can tell stories. And so every time I was teaching, we'd play together and the children would make up fantastic stories, really funny ones. And so I loved that. Michael liked Grab when he was a little boy.
Now, after teaching many kids with dyslexia, in your opinion, what is the best part of dyslexia and what is the worst part of dyslexia?
The best part about dyslexia is you can think outside the box. So often, dyslexics come up with brilliant ideas that no one else has thought of. And another good thing about dyslexia is that it teaches you how to be tolerant of others, because you feel that you're having some difficulty at school. And so other people who are having difficulty at school, you can relate to that and you understand them. And so it develops understanding of other children, other people. It's also curiosity. They're often really curious and want to know everything, a bit like you two. And the worst thing about dyslexia is school. School is the one time when you have to learn to sit and listen and remember and read and write. And it's so, so difficult. It's really hard to concentrate. But school is just for a little time in your life. At the time, while you're at school, it feels like forever. But it's actually only a few years out of your life. And your life after school can be fantastic. And the other good thing about dyslexia is because you're at school, you have to learn what I would call confines. That means to be in a box. And you have to learn structure. And in learning all about that, it makes you so much stronger than other people. And when you leave school, it's fantastic. The world's your oyster. Okay?
What are some of your highlights teaching kids with dyslexia?
Sorry, can you say that again? What are some of your
Highlights teaching kids with
highlights?
dyslexia.
Oh, gosh. There are so many. There were highlights every day because we played. That's what we did during our lessons. Of course, now I'm not teaching. I retired 3 years ago, but I can remember all the different highlights we had. Children learning to suddenly read, and also highlights now that I've retired, are seeing those children that I taught when they were little, and now they're grown up and they've done amazing things. Two of them have even got an Oscar at the film awards for making films. And but other people have done really well, and my students every now and then, even now, after all those years ago, from the 70s, they still get in touch with me and tell me what they've been doing. And that's the biggest highlight of all, because it shows me that dyslexics can go on and do really, really well.
What advice do you have for parents and kids who self-advance but face teachers and principals who think they know more about dyslexia than the parents who are well informed?
Oh, that's a tricky one, because it makes you feel angry. Well, when I was younger and was worried about my son, I went into school regularly and tried to teach them as much as I could about dyslexia. So I gave them reading material, I showed them little films. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to show the school Michael so that they can see that there are children to film. You know Michael to film?
Yeah.
Yes, have you seen it? Yes. Then because you just have to try to educate them. Now, that's a very difficult thing to do when you're little. Because it doesn't show. One of the things I used to say to teachers was, well, if my child only had one arm, you wouldn't expect him to write such a long piece of homework as everyone else, because it would take him longer. That's what you must think of when you're talking to dyslexics. Do you agree?
If you could build a time machine and go back in time, where would you go and why?
I don't think I'd go back. I think I'd go forward, because with all sorts of things coming on the internet, life is so much better now than when my son was little. And you can use AI and find all sorts of ways around things. And look at the way that you can speak to me now on the computer. Fantastic. So I think I'd go forward.
That is such a great answer. What do you get up to when you are not teaching kids?
What do I get up to? Well, I haven't been teaching for 3 years now, so I'm catching up on all the things that I couldn't do when I was teaching. And I'm doing things like gardening, painting, reading, because I like reading. And I also have 2 dogs, and I take them out a lot. So those are the sort of things I do now. I like sewing. I like quiet hobbies at home, because I wasn't at home much before.
Tell us about your OBE experience and meeting the Queen.
The OBE was a great, great honour and so unexpected. My parents had got together and got in touch with the Queen. And as a result, I had to go up to get the OBE. And nowadays, it's amazing. I look back on it and I think, what a wonderful day it was. I actually got to meet the Queen, and she was smaller than me. She was on a little step behind her desk when I went up to meet her, and I'm quite tiny. I'm only about 5'1", and she was smaller than me, and she had very blue eyes, a bit like you two, very blue eyes, and she was charming, absolutely lovely. So it was a great day. I'll tell you an exciting story that happened to me, shall I? When I got there, I couldn't walk very well because I was waiting for an operation on my foot. And so when we got inside, there were loads of stairs to go upstairs at Windsor Castle. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm never going to be able to get up there. And so they allowed me to use the Queen's special lift. And only one person could go in, and I went in my own and went up to the top level. It was very exciting to be in the lift that the Queen had used. So that was an exciting bit for me. And it was exciting seeing the castle. Amazing, amazing things.
Does your OBE make you a lady pat or dame pat?
No, I'm afraid it doesn't make me any of those. Do you know what they call me now? And the O stands for old, the B stands for batty, and the E stands for educator. Old batty educator. That's me. No, it doesn't make me a dame.
Oh, okay. And what is a fun fact about you?
Pardon? What is the fun thing, did you say?
What's a fun fact about you?
Fun fact. Well, one of the fun facts is that I have these 2 dogs, one little and one large. And because I can't walk very far now I'm older, I bought myself a little disability scooter, which has got 4 wheels, a bit like a small quad bike. And I take them out for walks on that into the woods. It goes off-road, and we've had a really good time going out on there because it gets up to 8 miles an hour. And so the dogs really have to run. And we've fallen in the ditch. We've enjoyed going over roots of trees, all sorts of things that have been exciting. So that's one fun thing about me.
Thank you, Pat Jones, for on Around the World. Thank you for your amazing service and all you've done to make the world a better place for us. Thank you, everybody, for listening. That's Distinct.